Hello there, and welcome to the Imitation Game for today, January the 6th. Excuse me while I cough because I realized Phil is back in action. We are going after Phil, and I gotta say, pretty fancy base, I guess, for a low-level Phil. I'm trying to do as much grenadier action as possible, kind of minimizing the old tanks and whatnot, just to see what we can pull off and how far we can get. Kind of just as a personal growth effort thing. So one boat seems fair for stage one. Moving on to stage two, I've decided to go with two boats just so that it doesn't take 5 hours. Oh my gosh. So, craft her? I'm gonna assume it's supposed to be Crafter 73, which is interesting because I didn't know there was crafting in this game, unless you kind of count your sculptor. But I don't know. But Crafter 73 nonetheless, great base. Going through with the Grens, because it's such a tight base and everything's so close together. The Grens just rip it a new one. It's fantastic to watch. I love it. Then we're going to move on to Phil. Phil number 2, if you would. It's kind of nice. Fortunately, the one boom cannon over there on the right-hand side is being, I guess, upgraded or built. So, really, this turns into a one boom cannon base. And if you just hug the right, you don't have to do a whole lot before you can wipe this mofo out. Especially if you're using the Grens, because, I did decide to, actually throw down a medic, because I don't want to lose any Grens before things get interesting. So we move on to stage 4, Phil. And, yes, there is a Shock Blaster up front. You're going to have to take that bad boy down. And then land in on the right-hand side. Once the Boom Cannon and Shock Blaster are no longer protecting the entire beach, as you can see, the Grens can just kind of sit there blowing things up, going all kinds of crazy on the wowie sauce, and doing what they gotta do. I did kind of laze out on the shock launcher. I really should have probably taken that out before moving so far into the attack, but it kind of progressed faster than I was previously anticipating. I get whatever. Anyways, Phil 4 down. Phil 4. The fantastic Phil 4. And we're on to Missy Peps. I'm going with it. Missy Peps. Big cannon in the middle of the whole map. Gots to get blowed up. Good news is you can blow up other things with it and it makes life easy. And if you are rocking the Grens, if you land very carefully, as you can see, you can stay out of range of the cannon. And your Grens will take out not only the cannon, but the sniper tower behind it because, well, they're crazy like that. Just be careful you don't let your Grens run into the minefield on the side there, because it's going to do horrible, horrible things. If the mines don't chew them up, though, they're going to be able to do this and just kind of wipe everything out. The sniper tower, I don't think even got a shot off because it just didn't have the range. Like, it hit because those machine guns are just in front. It's absolutely fantastic for the old Grennies. I honestly find that is the true great power of the Grenadier. It's not necessarily like the AoE damage or that, this or that. What the real bonus of the Grenadier seems to be is that people generally don't build anti-Grenadier bases because you don't see that many all-Gren attacks. So if you don't have a base devoted to kicking your butt, you can do some pretty weird things and kind of pull it off. Case in point, my base is kind of anti-warrior. I've got all kinds of flamethrowers and shock launchers and all kinds of crazy stuff, all pointed right at the base so that when the warriors get up there, bad things happen to them. I know some people build like the anti-tank bases. So you got like the boom cannons and doom cannons and all kinds of stuff like that right on the beach. So you don't get to farm any GBE up, and everybody's kind of got their own thing that they're trying to go against and prevent. But I don't know if I've ever dropped a load of Grens and been like, whoa, this was the anti-Gren base. Oh my gosh. Anyways, stage 6, obvi, gotta bust out the full-sized tanks and Grens. I didn't do all the boats. I really did intend to drop just Grens, because when you've got a base like this where you've got those non-defensive buildings lined up right in front of the cannons and stuff, the Grenadiers can just shred the first 2 rows of defenses without even getting close to being hit, which is absolutely fantastic for me, because if your Grens can't get shot at, they aren't gonna die. I did drop the load of tanks accidentally, and because of the whole residual attack and using up the things, I was like, well, I can't just retreat and then re-land properly, so I'm just gonna push forward with it. And it still worked out. Things came out pretty decently. There wasn't anything too incredibly scary happening. And by going all the way up the right, all the way into that back corner with the Grens and tanks, you can outdistance the worst of what that Shock Blaster has to offer. So you can just kind of leave it there. It might be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not going to be nearly as much of a pain in the butt as, say, it would be if you were rolling with Alzukas. I feel like Alzukas would be just that little bit closer, and they'd be in range and things would go bad. The Shock Launcher is also tossing a few shocks here and there, and I just kind of let it go. I've got the GBE to shock it, but I was just like, you know what? Honestly, it's not that big a deal, and we can actually burn through for a nice, easy stage 6 from Faramand or something like that. And then stage 7, Phil strolls up and drops his Smurfness right on our faces. Yes, that is a 71% building health boost and like a 64% damage boost. So, full disclosure, I was like, well, if you're gonna do something crazy like that, I'm boosting. I don't even care. I got a map clear to do after this. I'm throwing out just the masterpieces, troop health, troop damage, and GBE, and just boosted, starting with this attack. And I also decided, you know what, rather than trying to Superman it and go through and just throw troops at it, which I would normally not do, I'm going to do the smart thing, which is I've got extra attacks all over the joint. I'm going to start blowing some things up. So you can blow up the Shock Blaster right in the middle. That's very important. Do be mindful of the storage to the left, yeah, I guess it would be to the left of the Shock Blaster, because, the bug still exists where if storage buildings go down, you lose loot. However, if you're careful and don't take out any of those storage units, guess who gets some fat loot? I'll give you a hint. It's you. I know, I'm really good with hints, right? I've been practicing. So yeah, this is basically the end of my second attack of just GBE. Really, I'm blowing up boom cannons and calling it a day. I did want to test and see if it were at all possible to hit all 3 of those buildings, and it isn't. On closer inspection, after throwing the shock, I saw that it was a 2 and a 2, and I was like, nope, that's not doable. However, 2 of the 3 is completely doable. So, guess what I do? I land my troops down here, and I was hoping they'd keep the distance and I'd be able to like grenadier for a little bit, but that cannon turned right away, and I was just like, nope, landing everything, let's do this. It's one of the nice things about rolling around with the Granks. Yeah, kind of have that flexibility of, well, if the attack goes this way, I can do this and it'll be great, but if the attack goes poorly and goes this way, I can do this, and, you know, it kind of all falls in together and ends up being fantastic. We make the attack great again. So I decided to go up the right-hand side because I guess like those three big buildings there, they can give you some nice cheap GBE, which is always nice, but it also is a very clear path. You can see there's no weird mines or anything hidden in there, and I was just like, you know what, it's nice, it's safe, I'm gonna take it, why not? It does look like this base is normally intended, just from the line down the middle of it, I feel like there's supposed to be a shield generator, possibly where that back cannon is, or like over where the storage container is, I don't know, maybe not, but this guy is obviously looking to push some VP. I feel like he's got to be up there, got to be something impressive. So anyways, yeah, once you've cleared out all the stuff on the right hand side, kind of come back in towards the HQ. If you need to, you can throw whatever GBE you feel like doing. Obviously the boom cannon and the regular cannon turned and started taking fire, so I was like, well, the first thing I need to do is keep them from killing my tanks. So I started throwing the shocks, and then I realized, oh crud, the shock launcher is shocking me, which is slowing down progress of killing all the things that I want to kill. So I just started tossing out the artilleries and whatnot all willy-nilly because I knew it would get me the win. And there it is. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.